Business credit cards have been one of my secret tools that I've used in the last 5 years to make me more money, earn me more credit card points, and to have access to resources that I never would thought be imaginable in my life. Now, this includes a $250,000 line of business credit that I got from JPMorgan Chase, and this comes from the relationship of the credit cards that I have with them. I've also been able to accrue enough points for me to travel the entire world multiple times. It's these things called business credit cards that they don't really teach us in school or ever really in life. But let me tell you, this is something that the elite and the ultra wealthy know so very well. Even in my own experience, I can state that business credit cards have been a big contribution to what's even allowed me to buy some of my dream cars, like an Audi RS7, my Huracan Evo, and yes, even the Toyota Tacoma. I don't know if I would have been able to get any of those things. So about 2 years ago, I started the process of building a brand new house. And if it wasn't for me understanding the full ins and outs of leveraging my business credit first, I don't know if I would have been able to get the house, and I surely don't think I would have been able to get any of the cars. This is because one of the benefits that business credit cards offers is that it separates your business expenses from your personal credit report. Now, there were some months where my company had accrued expenses of more than $30,000. Now, this is payroll, this is hiring other agencies, building our website, and look, if I had shown that I had $30,000 in expenses to the mortgage underwriter who was working on my profile, I really don't think I would have gotten approved for the mortgage. It would have pushed me back a significant amount, because if any of you guys who have ever been in the process of buying a home, you'll know mortgage underwriters are very strict within the US, and they've been cautious since the 2008 housing crash. Now, they're even more sensitive when they hear a self-employed YouTuber is trying to get approved for a $1.8 million loan. So business credit cards has definitely helped me in more tremendous ways than I ever would have imagined. But look, ladies and gents, it's not just that. It's not just the cars and the nice house, but business credit cards offer actually quite a lot more. So to start, one of the benefits is that you'll get much higher credit limits compared to your personal cards. As an example, for the Built MasterCard, if I had a $10,000 credit limit on this card, I actually have a $25,000 limit, not to flex, at least to get the numbers right for this video. If they had offered a product like the Business Built credit card where I could pay for commercial rent, I would imagine that the credit limit on this would be at least double. So it would be a $50,000 credit limit, or I wouldn't even be surprised if they offered me a $75,000 or $100,000 credit limit. Another benefit is that usually the welcome bonus is much higher on a business credit card than the personal credit card would offer. Take as an example the Chase Inc. Business Preferred, where for this, you would get 100,000 ultimate reward points at the time of filming this video for a limited time, while the Chase Sapphire Preferred will give you just about 60,000 points. That's crazy. The Chase Sapphire Preferred is giving almost half of the welcome bonus rewards than what the business credit card would offer. So take as an example the American Express Platinum card, which has a public offer right now of 80,000 points. Now, just by doing a quick Google search and seeing the business Platinum card, which is the business version of the personal Platinum card, right now you can find a public offer where it gives you 120,000 points. 40,000 MR points is worth quite a bit. If we value that 1 point to 1 cent, that is going to be roughly an extra $400 just by signing up for this card. And ladies and gents, look, that is just the start of some of the additional benefits offered. With business credit cards, you can also separate your personal and business expenses. So you'll be making accounting much more easier. You'll be able to stay more organized with your books. On top of that, you can get an access to a whole new world of different bonus earning categories, such as money back on advertising, shipping, computer hardware, and even internet service. To me, the easiest way I'd explain this is that business credit cards are simply just personal credit cards injected with steroids. Now, if you made it up until this point and you're convinced, okay, Brian, you got me, I want to get started, but look, I don't even actually have a business. Well, this is where your boy, Professor J, is coming in, because this video here is going to be the ultimate guide on YouTube where I will take you from the beginning all the way till the end on getting approved for your own business credit card. Not only that, but I'm going to share with you on how you can get approved for a business credit card even if you don't have a business. So I got approved for my first business credit card right out of college. I got approved through starting my own e-commerce company, but I had to go through a lot of different things and I learned a lot of lessons on that. So ladies and gents, for this video, I highly recommend you take notes, pull out your iPhone or pull up the notes section on your computer or even a journal and pen. So with that being said, let's first get started with the most common misconceptions about business credit cards and reveal to you the truth. So one of the most most widespread business credit card myths is that you need to own a huge corporation, you gotta have 100 employees, or you gotta have an LLC with your face on the back of a van. The truth is that anyone can actually apply for a business credit card, even if you don't own a traditional business, even if you don't have multi-million-dollar revenue coming in, or even if you don't have an EIN. This is because by definition, the IRS defines a sole proprietor as someone who owns an unincorporated business by himself or herself. So maybe you've done one of those food delivery apps, maybe you've done Uber driving and you've collected some side hustle money from that, or maybe you've been paid to dog sit your neighbor's pet, or you've tutored your family friend's kid, or you've acted as a consultant where you know a certain topic or niche really well and you got paid for it. In the eyes of the IRS, by definition, if you're earning some type of revenue, then you are considered to be a business owner. This is gonna qualify like 95% of the people watching this video. Now, the next big misconception about business credit cards is that you need to have an excellent credit score, say like 800 plus. There are even some people out here that think you need an 850 credit score to qualify for business credit cards, because if business credit cards are tremendously better than personal credit cards, wouldn't they want to have better consumer applicants applying? Well, that's not necessarily true. Yes, you still want to have a good, healthy credit score of at least 700 in order to get approved for these business credit cards, but you don't need to have an excellent score. There are even some other business credit cards like the Capital One Spark card that still approves applicants that have less than good credit. And if you're more in the average territory, under 700, we've seen a lot of data points where people with that have been getting approved too. On top of that, I bet you didn't know, but just like there are secured personal credit cards, there are actually secured business credit cards that exist for people who may not have the best credit either. With a secured business card, you'd be required to put down a deposit that acts as your credit limit, and over time, as you keep paying it off, these cards will help you to improve your score and eventually move you over into an unsecured business credit card. Another misconception that exists is that if you have a business credit card, you can only put business transactions on it. Now let's talk about this a bit more, because look, I highly recommend if you do have a business credit card to put business expenses on there only. And that's not because these credit card companies are taking a microscope and, magnifying glass and they're looking at it every single time. The reason for this is because it's going to make organizing and accounting just a lot easier in the case you ever get audited by the IRS, which is already statistically very low for your average American. Like recently too, I had two business dinners, one with a content creator at a hot pot place and another with my real estate agent at a nice brunch place, and I put that on my business credit card. The sole purposes of those meals and those dinners was for my business, but on the end of the credit card merchant, when they see, oh, Brian's got a business credit card, oh, he's spending it on food, they're not gonna be able to make that distinction on whether or not it's a personal expense or if it's a business expense. They just see it as food. I've been doing that for a long time because that is a viable expense for myself as a creator, and nothing has ever happened. I still have all my business credit cards. I have the American Express Business Platinum. I have all of the Chase Inc. business cards. I have the Marriott Bonvoy business. I have the Amazon Business Prime. I have a few more too, but that's just a handful of that I can remember right now. When it comes to putting personal expenses on a business credit card, I know I'm gonna get this question a lot, so I do wanna make note, it is not illegal to use a business credit card for personal expenses, but it doesn't mean it's a good idea either. So do your own research and try to do your best to follow the rules that some of the card issuers have put in place. Last but not least, there's also a big misconception that business credit cards were created and intended mainly for large corporations, like the big accounting firms or these companies with 500 plus employees. Business credit cards were actually intended and created for people like you who are watching this video, the person that wants to start their own business. A lot of small business owners, maybe the college dropout trying to start their first e-commerce store, or even the immigrant family that wants to open their own brick and mortar mom and pop shop. The reality is this, most businesses need capital to start. That's why we have shows like Shark Tank where we see business owners pitching investors on their idea on how to raise even more capital for what they do. There's also a misconception that like all credit card debt is bad, but I say that's only half the truth, and that's for two additional reasons. You remember when I mentioned that business credit cards don't report balances to your personal credit report? Say as an example, you need some additional cash. Even at some of the best interest rates within the market right now, you'd expect to pay anywhere from 5 to 15% on interest for a loan. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to business credit cards, you can actually have up to 0% interest with a promotional rate, depending on the card, for up to 12 to even 24 months that doesn't get reported onto your own personal credit report. There's a lot of stories like that, or maybe, you're just having a slower month because we're in a recession, but next quarter things are going to pick up when the new trend turns around, or you have a new seasonal drop coming. Instead of paying for a 5 to 10 or even 15% predatory loan, you could go ahead and use a business credit card that offers you no interest for that promotional period and allows you to have a line of credit that does not affect your personal credit score. If you're confident you can pay it back in time before that time period ends, you not only got free money with no interest, but I'm sure you'll also score that welcome bonus offer, which is really, really good on these cards. So this means instead of going from paying a loan shark money that they don't need, you're actually coming out ahead in free points and free cash. If I had done that on, say as an example, the Chase Inc. Unlimited card, and say as an example, it's giving me 100,000 UR points, 1-to-1, that is worth $1,000 in cash right there. So literally by taking loan money, yeah, you heard me right, you'd be getting paid back. Now I know this all sounds crazy, and if your mind is blown, I am blown away too of the fact that they do not teach anyone this stuff in school. And for this information to exist, people really have to go out their way. I mean, this is why I believe that term rich stay rich, the poor get poor, because it's information like this that is always gatekept by the most rich and successful people. But this is the video where it's going to change your life. And this is my job to educate you and to help you save money, make money, and to live a better life. So real quick, before we get into the action steps on what you can do step by step, if you guys do appreciate videos like this, what really helps me out a lot is if you drop a like down below. So before applying for a business credit card, there's actually a few steps that you're going to need to take. One of them, you need to decide whether or not you're going to use an EIN or a social security number. So say you want to use your social security number in applying for a business credit card. Well, I put down the pros and the cons of both. Basically for this route, it's going to be easier, it's going to be quicker, but the cons are going to be the fact that the approval odds of you applying in this manner may weaken. Now I have the step-by-step guide here right on the screen, but I'm actually just going to take you through the application process myself. If you want to go ahead and use your social security number, all you have to do is this. So pull up the credit card that you want to get started with. For this example, I'm going to use the Chase Inc. Business Premier, which is actually a brand new card that released recently. You're going to be wanting to fill this in with all of your own personal information. So first name, last name, date of birth, social security number. They actually have it right here. You throw that in here as well. You would put your own home address into the address section. Keep in mind, many businesses right now work from home, so it's perfectly acceptable, especially after this pandemic where a lot of people work hybrid too now. One thing to note is that you may want to avoid using PO boxes because I've heard that definitely causes issues, and I've done it before, and I've had some hiccups before on that way as well. Now, a lot of this is simple as just making a new social media account. So say you're a brand new entrepreneur getting started out with the world and you haven't had any income yet for your business. It's completely okay to do an estimate of what you think you'll make for that year based on previous trends. So if you made $100 per day with your Shopify dropshipping store, multiply that by 30 days and multiply that by 12 months, and then you'll have an idea of your total gross annual income. For the tax ID type, we are gonna go click SSN. Is your business physical address the same as your personal address? Most of the time it will be yes. And if you have just one employee, which is yourself, just gonna press 1. Your regular cell phone can go ahead and be the business phone number, or you can create a free Google Voice number, which is something that I do as well. Scrolling down with the business established date, you just put into the date where you first started. It could be the first of this year, it could be the first of last year, and then you put in the expected annual business revenue. Now you don't need to be making $1 million a year. I'm telling you, there are people who get approved even for much lower revenue. Ideally, you don't want something so low where you're only making $100 for the entire year because they may not take it seriously. There may not be enough expense for them to want to approve your application. Just put something reasonable that your business would be making. Now, this is the category where I know a lot of people have trouble in. For this, I actually go with the same thing every single time, and it's retail or non-store retail. This is because all of my businesses personally are through the internet, but before I even started YouTube, I had a digital marketing agency, I had an e-commerce store, I had multiple of those, and I always thought those fell under non-store retail because I was selling things. But hey, if I wanted to stick more towards the agency side and I was consulting people within maybe the real estate section, or if I was doing things where I'm like teaching others like I'm doing on this YouTube channel, that's going to be educational services. This is just a note for Chase. This is not, you know, if you happen to be a fisherman and you're making some money from that, that's not going to disqualify you for a business credit card. This is just for the fact that they can categorize things and know what kind of trade you might be in. Obviously, if I applied right now, YouTube would not be on here, so I would have to find something the closest to to it. That applies for whatever industry you guys may be in. If you're getting paid to read books to, people in the world, you're not going to find that exact profession. So just find something close to it. So if I go into retail, it's going to tell me business type, and I can just go into other miscellaneous store retailers if I'm an online e-commerce store. And then from that, I can go into all other MISC retailers. Obviously, I don't have a code here, but it's going to auto-generate something internally from their system onto the front end of yours. And then going into this section, estimated monthly spend, it's just how much money you would spend on your business. Say I spend $1,000 a month, boom. No employee cards, the agreement, click this and submit, and you're good to go. Now, on the other side of that, that's the easier and more efficient way of applying for a business credit card, but it's actually not the way that I would recommend most people to go. I would recommend you to go through an EIN and to start the process in this manner here. This is because you can find yourself having a higher approval chance since it is coming from an EIN or a more legitimate business. You'll have a separation of entity, meaning you won't get your personal expenses combined with your business company. And also on top of that, you'll have the main perk and benefit of your business credit history not getting reported to your personal credit report. The only con that I can think of this is that it'll just take a bit more steps and a bit more time to complete. But like I said, I think getting an EIN is definitely worth it because this is the route that I decided to ultimately go for. And let me tell you, it is way easier now in the year of 2023 with all these companies that help you set up a legitimate business. One more thing, if you happen to be someone who's not a US resident and you want all the benefits of credit cards and even like the business credit card side, this is where this really shines. A lot of people don't know this, but if you don't have a social security number and if you aren't a US resident, you can actually sign up with an individual taxpayer identification number to request through the IRS, and through that, you'll open the doors of getting approved for some of these business credit cards through the US. As an example, if I go on this application here for Chase, scroll down just a little bit, we have EIN and ITIN, and this is what you'd be looking at. So out of the two, if I were to choose again, I'd go with an EIN. I would do it right. And if you're starting, what do you have to do? Well, let me tell you here. Step one is that you want to apply for an EIN. Now, to apply for an EIN, it's actually really simple. All you have to do is go on irs.gov or you go on Google and type in apply for an EIN. There are some companies that charge you money in order to do it, but you can actually do it yourself for free. And this first link from irs.gov will take you right to it. Now, it's also noted, even though this is a whole internet thing, they have hours of operation, which even like 5 years ago, I found so fascinating, but you can only get an EIN from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. All you have to do is click apply online now. It'll give you some disclaimers. You can click business application. And from here, you decide what type of entity you're going to be. So you can still be a sole proprietor. You can click continue, sole proprietor, continue, starting a new business, or banking purposes, I say starting a new business. Go through your name, go through your information, go through your social security number. I am the sole proprietor. Continue. Look, basically, if I put in the right social security number, I would have gotten to a step where it says, okay, congrats, you made it. Here's your EIN. That's how easy it is. You don't have to pay a single dime to anything. That's how easy it is. At that point, you'll have your EIN, but even if that's something you don't want to do, there's actually a company that does almost every single process for you, and this is called Tailor Brands. And no, ladies and gents, this is not sponsored. None of this video here is sponsored. This is actually something that I use that I think works really, really good. So as an example, you can actually launch your own business online in just a few clicks. So say right now, what'll come to me? Well, I bought a new puppy recently. His name is Astro. We're going to name this company after him. We're going to call it Astro's walking service. They're pretty much with their algorithm going to create a business goal for you. They can set up almost everything. Say this business, Astro's walking service, is something where I provide a service. I'm going to say this is a dog walking company. So what was your biggest motivator for starting your business? Well, doing what I love. You know what? I'll just doing what I love. Yeah. So what stage is Astro's walking service at? Well, this is getting ready to launch. It's not in business just yet. What would you like to focus on today? Well, they can actually help me make an LLC, get that EIN, get a website domain, logo, branding. So I actually want to get a website. So does Astro's Walking Service have any of the following? I don't have any of these done. This is brand new, so none of the above. How did I hear about you guys? Does this matter? Maybe YouTube. Now, before companies like this existed, way back then, you would have to go through Google domains, buy one, or if you're using GoDaddy, whatever it is, and then you'd have to set up utilities, your bills, the phone number, number, then have to get your logo, the website. This here is pretty much going to get you step by step on how to set everything up. So step one, if I wanted to create my own logo, let's go icon based, geometric shape. I like circles and triangles. You know what? I like all these. And basically right here, they're just going to auto generate what we need. And here we go. We got AWS, Amazon Web Service. No, this is Astro's walking service. We got the full business digital card. We got everything we need. We can get a whole branded website. We can get merchandise and everything built out. So after we take those steps and you have all the documents and you have the evidence that you own this brand new business that you started, here's what you got to do next. So as you're watching this video, if you open up the description box down below, you can click on best business credit cards. Through that link, you're going to find a variety of different business credit cards. Let's start out with the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited. I'm going to go ahead and click this. I'm then going to go into apply now. And then you're going to get the secure portal application. Here it's going to tell me what the current best offer is right now, which is $900 cash back, which is pretty insane. Then I'm going to click apply now, and we're going to see the same website that we did if we were going through the Social Security numbers way. You're going to literally fill it out the same way that I told you guys earlier. For this part, I'm a owner. Same thing, address. If it's your home address, put it in. Total gross annual income, $50,000 as an example. Legal structure. If I decided to go and make this an LLC, that's what I would put. Does your business use another name? It doesn't. It is just the same business name, Astro's Walking Service, AWS. You go ahead and put your EIN here one last time. I have one employee, myself. Put in the business revenue, put in the established date, go into the category. Here, I'd be more services, other services, I would say. I don't see dog walking, so I'm just gonna do other professional services. Oh, here, pet care. Sweet. Estimated monthly spend, $0. Percent of ownership, 100. And then after that, you agree and you submit and you're good to go. That's how easy it is. So ladies and gents, after doing that, well, what's next? You're gonna get three possible outcomes. One, you might get auto approved. If that happens, congratulations, you are good to go. Enjoy your business credit card. The second thing, which is most likely to happen to many new applicants, because I mean, this is what happened to me and this is what I had to go through, but they told me I needed to submit additional documents. The last thing that could happen is that you just get denied. If that's the case too, you can go ahead, call the reconsideration line or just wait for a letter in the mail, because if you do get denied, they are obligated to tell you exactly what the reason may be. So it might not even be because your business is not legitimate or you don't have enough revenue coming in. Sometimes it's just your credit score isn't good enough, or other times it's just your length of history is not long enough. But what you can do is if you call the reconsideration line, you'll actually talk to a real human being, let them know your situation and see if they can move you over to the part where maybe you can submit some additional documents, or maybe they'll just auto approve you on the spot. Just because you get denied doesn't mean that you get denied forever. I've gotten denied for other credit cards. I called the recon line and I've been good to go. Now, the more likely scenario that you have to submit additional documents, here's what you got to do. Normally, if they need additional documents from you, they're going to want something that is sent through physical mail, like snail mail, go to the post office, send it in, or you can fax it as well. In those documents, you want to send proof of your EIN document that you got from the IRS. You want to also include proof that you are either a sole proprietor or an LLC or whatever business entity that you formed. On top of that, they're going to request for something called a utility bill, but this is just a bill that connects your name with the business name and some bill that has gone sent out. So this could be as simple as having a Shopify subscription. This is actually what I did 4 to 5 years back. I just put in my Shopify subscription that had the domain name to the company name that I had started back then. Or if you go ahead and use Tailor brands down below, they're going to actually bill you an amount. And that right there is also proof depending on which package you go for. All Chase is going to want is some type of utility, because a lot of these companies have expenses. So this could also even be like your Verizon bill or something. But the main point is that the bill you sent them, they got some name where it connects the business entity, your name, and the address. Now, I recommend going above and beyond with the documents that you need to send in for proof, because if it happens to not be enough, you're going to have to go through an additional 2 to 4 week process in order to wait for whether or not you do get approved. So to go above and beyond, there are platforms, Shopify, Squarespace, G Suite account. These will all provide evidence of your company name on these bills that will make the credit issuers happy. So ladies and gents, that was the step-by-step guide right there in order for you to get approved approved for your first business credit card, but there's more. When applying for a business credit card, you need to make note that you will get a hard pull on your account, but like I always say, hard pulls only temporarily lower your credit score, but the advantages of getting a new card outweigh the small point drop immensely. So if you do apply for a new business credit card and you're like, oh, why did my personal credit score drop and why did I get a hard pull or a little inquiry on it? It's normal. It's natural. I got like 30, 40 plus inquiries on my account. That's what happens. The score will drop temporarily for maybe 1 month, but then the next cycle usually goes back up to where it was. It's also worth noting, after you get your first business credit card, it's also going to get easier to be approved for the rest of the business credit cards. It's also worth noting, most of the issuers will now not do a hard pull on your personal credit account after you got your first business credit card. So as an example, as soon as I got my first Chase Inc. business card, I've not received a hard pull from them and other issuers when applying for another card. This is business credit cards to be exact. Another tip I need to recommend is that when you get approved for a business credit card, you're going to have a separate account. So this here will mean that you have a personal account username and a business account. What you can also do is call the credit card issuer and ask them to merge everything under your business account. So if you log into your business account, you can also see your own personal score and your personal credit cards and your personal points. That way you don't have to log in, log out, log in, log out. You can actually stay within one account and transfer them from one another. If you're also asking yourself the question, well, Brian, which credit card should I work with? Which one should I start with? Well, I highly recommend to go with one of the Chase Inc. business cards because right now they have a limited time offer where the welcome bonus right now is so much more than I've ever seen it before. Like back when I applied for these cards, the welcome bonus was, I think, less than half of what it is now. So make sure you take advantage of the full offer. Out of the 4 Chase Inc. business cards that exist right now, I would go with the 2 that have no annual fees, which is the Chase Inc. Cash or the Chase Inc. Unlimited. If you find that you have a lot of expenses that go under the Chase Inc. Cash card, go for that first. Or if you resonate a lot more with just having a flexible business credit card, the Chase Inc. Unlimited is pretty solid too. After that, you can complete the trifecta, or what I would say now the quadfecta, because they added the 4th new Chase Inc. card, and get the rest of their lineup after you hit the welcome bonus for those cards. Now, Chase personally has some of the best business credit cards, but American Express also has a great variety of them as well. So don't sleep on the Amex Business Gold, the Amex Business Platinum, the Amex Blue Business Plus. There's just so many cards that you can sign up for. And remember, these will not report to your personal credit report. So that means if you apply for 6, 7, or 8 of them, you don't have to worry about falling under and not being applicable for other Chase cards due to rules such as the Chase 524 rule. It's also worth noting that not all credit card issuers don't report to your personal credit report. So, issuers like American Express and Chase, they don't affect your personal credit report, but then other companies like Capital One are known to actually report it as well. If you're looking for that specific reason, make sure you do a quick Google search to make sure that you are covered and that the credit card you are getting doesn't report if that is a big concern for you. Now, this here is the most important tip, and this is to enjoy your business credit card. Make sure that you're able to hit the welcome bonus requirement, enjoy them points, transfer them out to take that dream vacation to Bora Bora or wherever you want to go. If you want to also maximize the points that you're earning, there's also something called utilizing the P1 and P2 strategy. P1, P2 stands for player 1 and player 2, and this is where 2 players are working together to double their rewards. So there are some co-branded hotel credit cards that offer a free hotel night each year. You can stack that with a partner or a close friend of yours. So if you ever decide you want to take a, weekend night with the boys, or, you take a romantic getaway with your significant other, you can do that by utilizing both of the card benefits that you guys have. I think one of the main benefits of having a player 2 though is the fact that you guys can actually refer each other to get higher welcome bonus offers. So one of the benefits of credit cards is that when you refer someone, you can earn points. And if you're able to do that with a significant other where you refer them, they refer you, you guys both get increased welcome bonus offers, it's a win-win. Now, if y'all don't have a player 2 just yet, here, listen, I'll be your player 2. I will be your player 2. And you guys can also use my link down below in order to get started as well. Real talk though, this is pretty much what allows me to keep putting out free content just like this. And it's what supports my team of 5 full-time employees. Whenever you guys use those links down below in the description, if you're applying for a card and you're like, okay, I'm gonna apply, I'm gonna go on Google and I'm gonna just take the first link that I see on ads, that's going to a big company that does not need the funds. Whenever you're watching these videos and you have your own own favorite creator, or you just have a friend that you think might have that card, use them. Support small business owners, support small content creators, and support your buddies. So whenever you want to apply for a new card, it takes less than 10 seconds to go down below and use those links and apply that way. And I want to say I appreciate you guys so much for doing that as well. Now, if you guys do also want a copy of the presentation roadmap visual that I had made, I'm going to go ahead and create like an email link in as well. And through that, I'll send you an invitation to join our private Facebook group with over 32,000 active members. So if you're trying to get started with business credit cards and you're a little lost on something, you shouldn't be, but if you happen to be so, we have a very wonderful, helpful community that can help out. So check out the link down below in the description, drop in your email, because that way I can also send you my personal recommended credit cards. And if I see anything cool happening within the credit card space, I'll let you guys know as well, direct into your inbox. On top of that, if you guys do want to check out any of the other links that I mentioned, I will do my best to link them all down below. I'm gonna reach out to some of these companies and see if I can get you guys hooked up with either a promo code or just something. I know Shopify has sent me an offer where you guys can get like a free trial for $1 or something, which is crazy. I'm gonna reach out to Tailor brands and see if they can do anything for you guys as well. So if you guys want to check out those links, I'll have it down below as well. Thank you all so much again for watching this video. If it did help you out, be sure to share this with a friend. Let me know down below in the comments what your favorite part of this video was, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.